Plaintiff Tabitha Spearman says the defendant is her niece, and at age 17 she started running away from home. Tabitha claims at age 18 the defendant started smoking pot, getting into physical fights, and became promiscuous. And Tabitha's suing her today for an electric bill. Defendant Laquita Spearman says the only time she gets into fights is if someone else starts it first. Laquita claims Tabitha is constantly instigating arguments between Laquita and her mother, and she's countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
I'm here today to show my niece some tough love and show her she needs to learn some responsibility. Her mother...
Tough love?
Yes,
What's your definition? Beat her up and kiss her?
No.
And say you're sorry? Well, I need to know. Some folks had the wrong impression. What do you believe?
Still love her, but let her know she needs to take on her responsibility.
All right, that's a good definition. Go ahead.
Her mother had her at an early age, so therefore it was a child raising a child. So they were always not on a good path. They were always fighting and having disagreements. At the age of 17, Laquita started running away, living with different family members, and she was also dismissed from their places because of her attitude. At the age of 18, she started smoking weed, having sex with men, multiple men, constantly fighting. For example, she ran to a fight with my niece, and
you say she fought a lot during her younger age with her mom.
18.
Did she ever go to counseling? Did her mom take her to counseling to see what was wrong?
No.
Because what you're describing is a person that might need counseling and perhaps further.
Yeah, she do.
Frequently violent, rejecting authority, impulsive, reckless with her lifestyle. Yes. That isn't normal behavior. That's abnormal behavior, and I believe she would have benefited from counseling. And who you jumping on? You still jumping on people?
I never jumped on anyone.
I don't believe that. That woman ain't crazy. What?
Only time I've jumped on anyone, Your Honor, is when they're jumping on me. Other than that, never.
What do you call jumping on you?
Coming my way, finna hit me or hitting me or something like that.
Well, on this particular incident, she went to the fight.
Tell me what happened. This isn't what you're suing about, though, right?
No.
The electric bill. This is another example of a character. Go ahead. Yes. What happened in this instance?
And I have evidence here. She pulled up to a scene with my other niece. She was flying through a neighborhood with some people that she were already into it with, so I was told. And she almost ran over someone, so she stopped or slowed down. They started kicking her car and things of that nature. So she jumped out the car. They started fighting. No. And my niece jumped out, my other niece jumped out to stop it. And then a group of people, and they just started jumping them. So it was men and
anyone
girls.
Jump in front of the car?
Where they jumped in front of the car?
Yeah, when she was driving, did they try and jump in front to stop her from continuing?
No.
How do you know? Were you there, you say?
No,
how do you know?
She has it all wrong. She
Tell me what happened,
anything.
because I tell you, if they're stopped and they're about to attack the car or attack me in the car, just as she said, you have to do something.
Exactly.
You either have to try and get away, turn to the left, turn to the right. If you can't do that, you got to go slowly and hope that they're smart enough to get out of the way.
I agree.
Or jump out. If you really want to be careful and spare them any real injury, then you get out and say, let's just fight because you all about to get run over. So I'd rather beat you down than run you over.
Defendant Laquita Spearman is being sued by her aunt, who claims when Laquita was 18, she started smoking pot and became promiscuous.
Actually, she was already into it.
Let me hear
with
from
the
her.
people.
You weren't even there.
No, she wasn't there, Your Honor.
Tell me
First
what
off,
happened.
it was 4th of July, maybe.
This is one of the times you were being attacked, right?
Yes, it was 4th of July, maybe a couple years ago. My cousins and I and a couple friends, we were riding around. And I was riding through a neighborhood, and someone hollered out and said something. They said my name, and they said something else. I wasn't sure. So I turned around. No one was in the street. I never almost ran over anyone or anything, Your Honor. And I turned around, and I actually pulled on the side of the person's house who had yelled. And I said, what did y'all say? And she wanted to fight or something. So I was finna pull off. Her sister then came in front of my car and she started hitting on my hood like this. And so at that point, I got out my vehicle and I said, what, do you have anything to do, you know, with this? Why are you hitting on my hood? And at that point, she ran up on me, and that's when, you know, my cousin got out the car and basically they attacked us first. She put a dent in my hood.
So would you have said that had I not suggested someone jumped in front of the car? Suddenly you gonna
No, she did.
You wanna tell? Yeah. Suddenly you wanna tell the same lie.
Oh no.
That's a good one, Judge.
Go ahead, yeah, that's a good one, Judge. Let me use that.
No, Your Honor, it's not a lie, but that's exactly what she did. I guess they wanted us to get out the car, because at first I wasn't, you know, I'm not gonna get out, I'm in front.
What about fighting with your mother and arguing with your mother all those years? That's troubling to hear.
I have never physically hit my mother, ever.
Did you all argue, yell, and scream at each other?
We always
frequently?
Argue.
Why?
It's not always. It's just sometimes, you know, we disagree a lot. She, you know, thinks, she maybe will think this way and I'll think this way, and then, you know, just...
Beginning at what age? There's not a whole lot of argument you can do
maybe at
under
about,
14 for particularly.
Well, no,
I know young girls and kids argue with their mom at that point.
I didn't argue with her then. Now, maybe at the age of 17, once I got out of her house is when I started
you just using all my lies. You're just using them all. You don't do it at 14 and under. Yeah, it was 17.
Now, yes, sir.
Tell me about her. What do you want to tell me about her before we get to the electric bill?
Growing up, what I had always seen was my aunt actually fighting with my mom, going against my mother for, you know, basically no reason. For instance, it's been a time where she heard my Aunt Tabitha heard someone talking about her vehicle was raggedy. And at that point in time, you know, she'll just stop talking to you. You know, if you just say anything about her, she has a nasty attitude. We used to actually be very close.
Anything negative about her?
Yes.
Or you think she should smile?
No.
She should have an attitude.
Yes,
y'all talking about.
But if she doesn't know for sure, she'll just get mad. You know, she won't come to you and just ask you directly.
So now she's not like you. She don't want to confront people and get in fights. She just walk away, mind her own business, and let y'all say all that you want to say. And that's what you should do, instead of confronting people when they talk about you and getting into fights and arguing with your mother. Your mother, you don't argue too much with her. You listen, you roll the eyes without her seeing you. Don't let her see you do it.
Yeah, because I get slapped
But you just say, oh, my goodness, and hope she's not looking. Okay, mama. Okay, mama. All right. And then if you're an adult, then you just leave and do what you want to do.
Yes, sir.
All right. But, humor her because that's your mother. Yes. Say yes, 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 and go do what you want if you're grown.
Yes.
Mama, I'm going to the store. Anything, you want anything back? No, I don't want nothing back. I don't even want you back. Okay, Mama. All right, Mama. I won't come back. And then 5 hours later, you come back. She done changed altogether. Yeah. Were you able to stop by the store, baby? Mama, you told me not to. Girl, you know I didn't mean that. I was just messing with you. And that's how it goes, isn't it? All right. Yes, ma'am. Let me hear what this electric bill is about.
July of 2017, my niece asked me to get an electric bill in her name because she had max surge out and she couldn't pay her own bill. And at the time, she had it in her mother's name, but I guess her and her mother had got into another one of their confrontations. So her mother was getting it cut off. So she asked me. And I told her, yes, she could get it in my name if she pays it on time and keep the bill up. And she agreed and said she would pay it.
Tell me about this electric bill.
Well, Tabitha, she's studied saying stuff about me and my mom. But honestly, she loves to see me and my mom into it. She's always been the instigator. Like anytime, you know, when something goes on, she'll bicker in between, you know, both of them.
Is that true?
No, it's not true.
I don't get that impression from her. I get the impression she might be the type that break it up.
I was always
makes sense.
Trying to give her encouraging words and trying to tell her to respect her mom. And sometimes her mom would even call me crying or upset, and I would say things to comfort her mom. And when I did talk to her mom about her, I would say, well, y'all love each other, try to do better.
And what are you doing with yourself in life?
I actually just had a baby, so I'm a new mom.
Prior to that?
Prior to that, I was working.
What type of career?
Convenience store, Walmart. Yes,
Were you able to get an education beyond high school of any type?
Yes, I'm actually going back to school. I did 1.5 years of college.
Good.
But I'm actually going to go.
Be quiet. Now you're about to get on my nerves. Whether she did a year or a day, she aspired to go to college and lift herself up. That's the
Your
point.
Honor, she didn't even graduate.
All right,
so
well, let me just say, all the
speak on
arguing
this?
with your mother, I think she's proud for you to have overcome or at least go to college despite all your troubled past. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Defendant Laquita Spearman is being sued by her aunt, who claims when Laquita was 18, she started smoking pot and became promiscuous.
I need to hear about this electric bill that
Okay,
she's suing you for.
So what she was correct on, I did get my bill in her name, and I actually did pay my bill every month. Her mother, which is my grandmother, she actually told me about a budget plan because my electric bill was running up to $200 and $300. So, you know, I spoke with my grandmother and she was like, call the electric company and they'll put you on a budget plan. So every month I paid my bill faithfully. And once I wasn't able to pay my bills and rent anymore when it was coming down to me, you know, getting closer to the end of my pregnancy, I reached out to my aunt and I let her know that. And I got all my final bills sent to her home because I was actually living with her at the time. Once she found out I could.
Ooh, this is a long excuse.
Rent
Do
free.
you owe or not?
What? No, I do not.
Why?
I do not owe because she
Why?
told me that I could use her name. And,
Oh, and you did.
And
you ran the bill up.
no, sir, that was
It's not your bill?
Yes, it is my bill.
Yeah, well, then you did run it up. Why shouldn't you pay for your own bill?
I shouldn't pay because of everything I had to go through once she ended up throwing me out.
All
over
right,
the
but you are a
election.
counterclaim. That's what that's about, emotional distress for $900. That's not a defense, a legal defense to not paying her bill. That's a counterclaim. So the $900 is your counterclaim. How does she owe you?
She called me in a rage, cussing and going off. I hung up the phone. She then texted me and told me to get out of her home. So at that point in time, she put me out at 11 o'clock at night. She took my stuff to my mom's home, put it on her porch. She didn't even give me all of my clothes, all of my belongings that I had over there. I was 8 months pregnant when she put me out. I didn't expect that from her. She said she would be there for me, which I thought she would be.
Ma'am, you put her out at 11 p.m. at night?
Yes.
Yes, I
Why?
did. Because when I talked to her about the bill, she said, I'm not paying for nothing I'm not using. I say, Shay, I was nice enough to let you get the bill in my name, so why wouldn't you pay it? She started going off. She's very feisty, as I've told you previously.
Tell me what she did.
I did not want her to come back to the house.
What did she do?
She started talking.
You're laughing. Judgment, you're for emotional distress, $900. Keep laughing about it. And I'll also grant you your
apologize, Judge.
electric bill, $759. Have a good day, ladies.
Thank you. Wow. It's just regular.
I still love my aunt. I'm just gonna continue on with my life.
I love both of them. They both my family.
When we last spoke with defendant Laquita Spearman, she told us that she and her aunt, plaintiff Tabitha Spearman, were in a great spot and were closer than ever. Laquita also credited Judge Mathis for helping her and her aunt overcome the tension in their relationship.